Hey everybody, Snigby here from Snigby Gaming. Just going to do a little bit of a side quest here this morning before I get going on Angmar. First thing, we'll go ahead and open up our silver present today. And we've got that. This gold present, because I'm VIP, we'll be able to open up once a week, I think it is, when you can open that one up. So we'll go ahead and do that. What I thought I would do is go ahead and do this Baggins birthday. So we're going to go ahead and set that up, and we are going to travel to speak to Frodo at the last homely home. Today being Bilbo's birthday, I thought it might be nice to go ahead and do that. And as I am about as far away from Rivendell as I can be, it'll be fun to go ahead and make it out there. You know what? I can ride a horse in here. See if I see the ring here. No. Okay, I know Bilbo is here. Let's see if they can give us a clue as to where he is. In Rivendell. Alright, so I'm going to go look for him. Here's Bilbo.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
45. We'll do that. But I gotta find Bilbo, or Frodo. The guest chambers, maybe? Using that has no effect. I don't know where. Oh, there's Bilbo's room. Maybe Frodo's in Bilbo's room. There's Mr. Frodo. All right, but anyway, back to my story. I was just telling you that I was underutilized and started playing Lord of the Rings. I played it solo for a while. We got in with the Ken. The Ken and I, we ran a lot of the in-game content around. It was around the time that they would release. The horses. Breland, Rivendell, Rohan. It was around the Riders of Rohan coming out here. We did some of these things, so had a lot of fun. All right, but anyway, let's get back to today. Hello, are you here to assist me with my birthday surprise for Uncle Bilbo? Well, yes, I am.
Might I speak with you a moment?
I'm glad you're here. I'm in need of help or adventurer such as yourself to help me with a birthday surprise for my Uncle Bilbo. When Bilbo decided to resettle in Rivendell, he did it in typical fashion, as you may have heard, with a bang and a flash, disappearing right during his own birthday party. In that moment, Bilbo instantly became the subject of many a tall tale and increasingly exaggerated legend. I know he's amused by that to no end to hear these stories, but myself, I can't collect them. The next time you're in the Shire, could you do this for me? I'd start with the Gaffer. He hears most everything worth hearing and will surely know who you should talk to in order to obtain the very best tales. Okay. So, yes, Frodo, I will run back to Hobbiton to help out with that. Alright, guys, I am back in Hobbiton. Going to go see the Gaffer here. I am running fast, so I don't need to pull my horse up. But let's go see the Gaffer and see if he's got a good tale for us. Now, if you remember, the Gaffer is underneath the Hobbiton Hill. Let's see if I can jump this wall. I can, barely. And there's Gaffer Gamgee. That's Sam's father, I believe. All right.
What do you need?
Well, hello, Frodo sent me to talk to you now. What's that young fry up to now? Well, let's talk about it.
I want a word with you.
So you're here to collect stories about Bilbo Baggins, are you? Heard that I would know who to talk to. Naturally, you're correct. Give me a moment, I'll write down a list of likely hobbits to speak to. Mind you, you'll need to catch them at just the right time. If they don't seem to have a story for you, check back on them in a while. If you want to hear every story, you'll need to have some perseverance. All right. Looks like this is going to be one of those
just a moment.
Interesting ones here. So read the Gaffer's note. All right. Mind you, remember what I told you. Not everyone's going to have time to talk to you at once. If a hobbit doesn't have a story for you when you want to talk, check back with them later. All right. Get a pencil and paper here just in case I need to write some names down. A list of likely hobbits. Ted Sandyman. Alright, Ted Sandy. He's located on the north side of Bywater. North of Bywater. And we find near the center of Hobbiton. Okay. Sheriff Robin. Smallborough. Ivy Bush Inn. And Dudo Chubbs. And he's at the Task Bulletin Bar in Hobbiton. All right. Well, hopefully I can remember those.
What do you need?
Lesson of Ted Sandyman story. All right. So Ted is north here. See if I can move around on the horse to move just a little bit faster. Hello, Ted.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Sure. Surely I'll tell you a tale of Bilbo Baggins of the disappearing act he pulled at his birthday party all those years ago. Just lend me your ear for a minute. Okay.
Well, the gall of some folk.
Really? Well, now, what I heard is that Bilbo had just about had it on his birthday. So many people, all of them bickering and squawking and trying to sneak into Bag Inn and look for treasure. Anyone would grow weary and want to be done with it. Bilbo was always an unconventional hobbit. So what I hear tell is he decided to give everyone a good scare and sneak away. Went to go enjoy themselves where his family wasn't, and went round to the taverns and inns trying their brew. Now, from what I hear tell, no one quite sure what happened after that, but my brother's son, friend's cousin, works down at the Green Dragon, and he swears he shipped off in a barrel that was heavier than the others the next day, and that it rolled around funny like something was in it. Didn't think to question it until after the fact. My guess is that Bilbo enjoyed himself a bit too much, found himself in a cozy barrel, and got shipped off. Goodness only knows where he is now. I wonder what interesting brews he's gotten to try in the far-flung outlands. All right, cool. Oh, so I've got a lot of these to go talk to. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my tracker. And here's another Dudo Chubbs. See if he's got something to say.
Stay and have some tea.
Oh, collecting stories about Bilbo, big shot, Baggins, eh? More than enough of those to go around for sure. Luckily for you, I happen to know the truth of the matter, that odd disappearing act he pulled at his party. Yes, I do. Okay. Well, do tell.
How do you do?
As I was saying, here's what happened at the birthday party of Bilbo's. You see, when he was up on his adventure, he met up with a pile of dwarfs. Yes, dwarfs. Anybody who knows anything knows that some of them dwarfs got mighty particular ideas of their losing their homes in the mountains far off that long time ago. Since then, stories say some of them have been known to be a roaming band doing nearly anything to squeak by, and that would breed loose morals, if you ask me, assuming they have ever had any to start with. Can't ever be sure with people not to the Shire you cannot. I heard that one of these dwarves helped Bilbo dig a complex tunnel under Bag Inn. He simply popped down into these set at a opportune moment. Goodness only knows what he's been doing ever since. But you can bet it's something no respectable hobbit we caught doing. Okay. Well, thanks for that. What has Postman Grub got going on here?
Might I have a word with you?
Looking for stories about Bilbo? Well, yes, I am. Well, as Postman, I know most people hear most things, and I can certainly spare the time to tell you a tale. All right. Well, let's hear the tale.
What do you need?
So you're wanting to know where Bilbo's gotten himself off to. Well, if you ask around these parts, folks will tell you all kinds of nonsense. He got kidnapped, or is flying his own dragon, or is leading a fighting tribe of spiders. The gullibility of hobbits is sometimes not to be believed. They'll latch on to any story they hear, and the more exotic the better. Can you imagine Bilbo doing any of those things at his age? Gracious, he is a unique sort of hobbit, but he's got his limits. I see you can see the sensible sort, so I'll tell you the real truth. Bilbo's always had a terrible fondness for elves. Downright unsettling, if you ask me. But he never was one to hold with convention. Anyway, he decided to spend the rest of his days with them, invited by the elvish leaders and all. He spent his declining years living with them and enjoying their hospitality, all while writing his memoirs in the form of one-act play, where there's smog, there's fire. I hear that the Buckland Benefit and Benefit Buckle Brigade Brotherhood for the Bruised and Burned has exclusive rights for the opening. I'll say that 3 times fast. Well, Postman Chubb is the closest so far. We'll go ahead and move on. I see a lot of other little stars around here, so we'll continue on checking these things out. Oh. And it looks like they go away and come back, so.
Good day.
What is you asking about now, old Bilbo, you say? Well, certainly I know what happened on his birthday party. Listen up, I'll tell you the true facts of the matter. Okay, so I'm going to have to get some more water here in a few minutes.
Isn't it?
But let's go ahead and read this one, and we will continue on with our quest here. Bilbo Baggins was something of an eccentric around these parts. His adventures created enough stories that you can still hear new ones every day. Why, I was just recently talking to my niece's cousin's sister-in-law's nephew the other day, and he said he knew what really happened at that funny birthday party. All the folks in these parts attended it, but what with the food and drink and all the dancing and the youngsters underfoot, only a few folks really witnessed the actual disappearing act. My niece's sister's cousin, well, you get the picture. The lad I was talking with, he said that when he saw the wizard Gandalf pop old Bilbo into a giant sack, just visible through the fog, he said, and Mr. Bilbo squirming and wiggling like anything. Then they just vanished into thin air. Goodness knows what happened to the poor chap after that, but honestly, with the stories folks tell about this adventure and associates going on, what's other end can the Hobbit expect than a sticky one? That's an interesting story there, Sheriff. I have a question, though. I was talking to my niece's cousin's sister-in-law's nephew. Okay, so niece, would be your sister, a daughter of a brother or sister. A cousin of that would be basically, I'm going to have to get something out to pull that in, but cousin, sister-in-law's nephew. So that's about 1, 2, 3, 4.5 times, 5 times removed. All right. Well, I've got some more stories to go listen to. All right, let's see if we've got another story over here.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
Bilbo's asking about you? Most people think he's gallivanting goodness. Oh, I'll tell you if listen. I'm going to go ahead and pull Hal up here
Please stay a moment.
so I can keep that just for a second. Okay.
How do you do?
So you're wondering what Bilbo's been up to since he disappeared, eh? Well, as it happens, I heard he's not in some far-off land at all. He's still right here in the Shire. That's the whole party business was an elaborate ruse to set people talking and rumoring, and thinking he's in some far-off land having some more adventures. That was just Bilbo's way of creating a distraction while he crept away to hide in plain sight. Folks say that at night you can sometimes see him cloaked in black, face hidden behind a dark mask, with even a darker cape all flapping and flowing behind him, riding along the roads of the Shire. He's turned vigilante, protecting all of us from the bandits and goblins and anything else nasty trying to creep in our towns. Bilbo's managed to stay out of sight so well due to his hidden hobbit holes all over the Shire. They are built in secret and paid for him by his fortune, and he roams between these, never spending too much time in any one spot, always listening and waiting for the danger to appear. Okay.
Hello?
So Hal says, nope. Now I keep my ears to the ground, I do, and I can tell you with complete confidence that Bilbo went on back to the elves. He's always told such stories about them, the likes of which you wouldn't believe. He said that an elf queen had been teaching him to grow the best taters a person could ever hope to see. Leave it to Bilbo to go all the way off to the elves to gain knowledge just so he could steal the first prize ribbon from Farmer Baggett at one of these farmers' fairs. Some folks would just try harder in their own garden plot, but Bilbo Just couldn't never do anything the easy way when he could have an adventure instead. I imagine he'll be back any day to wipe that smug smirk off of Farmer Maggot and break his 60-year winning streak. All right, well, thanks, Hal. Let's see if we can find another one. And it seems like somebody wants to talk in here, but they keep getting busy.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
All right, so Herwood Longstem. You're looking for collecting stories about Bilbo Baggins. I know a grand one for you. That Bill has been in some places and things he certainly has seen. All right. Well, let's hear what that is.
Day, isn't it?
I heard that Bilbo got up to a whole mess of adventures after his party, but you're wondering what he's up to now, yes? Well, I'll tell you that I heard that in the end he ran off to some of those big folks what rides horses all the time. What are they called? The Riders of Ronald? Roger? No, nearly there. Tip of my tongue. Rohan. That's it. I heard he got himself a war pony, and they taught him to be a proper horsemaster and all. Rides in the company of, dread it, what's that feller's name? Theon? No? Theroman? Anything yet. Hang on. Hang it all. Give me a minute. Theoden. That's the chappie. Our Bilbo's right there riding in the company of the big folks, with banners streaming and horses whinnying all across those big plains of grass tall enough to hear I'd a hobbit or so I hear. Yeah. We'll find out eventually when we get there. Uh-oh, there's a couple more people over here.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Bilbo Baggins could single-handedly keep me in business for years. I'll gladly tell you a story.
Might I have
Excuse
a word
me?
with you?
What are you asking about? Yes, I know lots of those stories about Bilbo. My mom tells me some at night when I can't sleep. So I've got those two. We'll go ahead and do those. Take a quick drink. Some around here weren't sure about him, but I miss dear Bilbo. He always had such an air of mystery about him, which is saying something since the only air most hobbits have about them is one of pipeweed in their last meal. Bilbo was refreshing, he was. Shook us all up some, and that's a good thing, no doubt. We need some rousing out of our usual routine. Not all of us have the constitution to be explorers, so it's a precious commodity indeed when we get a hobbit with real stories to tell. Anyway, I hear that Bilbo was getting bored, and can you blame him? So when Gandalf was setting off on his lovely fireworks, Bilbo grabbed onto one and off he went. Soared around the skies in a trail of sparkles. Now shake your head if you like, but I think that Bilbo could do just nearly anything he put his mind to. And I'm not changing my story. Oh, I'd love to know where he landed and what mischief he's gotten up to since then. I surely do hope he returns to get home again, or I might just explode in a starburst myself from curiosity. Well, thanks for that story.
Is there something I can do for you?
My mom tells me stories about Mr. Bilbo some nights when I can't go to sleep. My favorites are the ones about the lonely mountain with the dragons and the treasure. I'd like a dragon, I think, but only a nice one, not a nasty one. My good dragon would live with me and bring us shiny things to play with, and I'd fly him around the skies. Dragons are terrible clever, you know, and so mine would tell me stories and teach me things that only dragons know. But you know, I keep thinking about that poor mountain. Why, it's even called the Lonely Mountain. And that was when it was still had a dragon friend of its own. But since Bilbo scared off the dragon, I bet that mountain's even lonelier. I feel so bad for it some nights, I just cry my plush sleep, Petunia. But then I thought about nice Mr. Bilbo, and I bet he feels the same way. I bet he went back to that poor mountain to keep it company. If I were him, I'd bring it another dragon, but a nice one this time, to keep it company for years and years and years. I bet that's just what he did. Alrighty. So I've got 3 more stories to listen to. Oh, wrong door. I always do that in this tavern. Hello, Holly.
Please, stay a moment.
What's that? You're wondering where Bilbo is now? Turned out you've asked the right hobbit.
Oh.
I'll have you know that I have it on excellent authority that in his travels Bilbo met a whopping massive bear. Yes, a proper large bear, but not like the little ones that den around these parts. And what did Bilbo do? No, don't be silly. The bear didn't eat him with one big gulp. Imagine the indigestion with all those brass buttons. Now, Bilbo might not be a proper hobbit, but a hobbit still he is. And that means he was carrying any number of delicious things, the like of which the bear had never smelled or tasted before. With those, clever Bilbo tamed that bear. Indeed, he did. And that's not the end. No, not at all. Just getting to be the best part. If you believe it. Radagast the Brown, you've heard of him, yes? Keeper of animals, they say, and proper wizard in his own right? Well, Radagast heard about Bilbo and the bear, and he was so impressed, he trained old Bilbo to be a lore master. Neither jesting nor joking am I. That's right. The first Hobbit lore master is our Bilbo, and he rides around now in a great bear, accompanying Radagast all over the lands. Interesting. All right. Well, where else do I got to go? Oh, Lotho and Lobelia.
Don't walk off.
Oh, all anybody talks around here is Bilbo Baggins, but as it happens, yes, I do know quite a juicy bit of information that I don't mind sharing with a person such as yourself. All right, let's see what Lotho says.
Why are you bothering me?
Oh, you're wondering about what Mad Baggins has been up to? Ha! He was all cleverness and no sense, if you ask me. I know a right amusing story about what mischief he's gotten himself into. I surely do. All right. So let's look at this one.
The call of some folk.
Lobelia, Sackville Baggins. Listen up now and you might learn something worth knowing. Earlier that day of the party, that is, I'll have you know I saw Bilbo sampling a good many of Holly Hornblower's pies. They always look delectable, but I swear she uses secret ingredients that would put off even the staunchest eater. Not that I'm jealous, mind. My pies always come in second, and I have an easy mind knowing that they're made only of the finest fruits. Not any new nonsense I hear tell of. Not like some people I know of. And it's all good enough for me. Well, pardon me. What was I saying? Right, Mr. Bilbo. As I was saying, I heard that Holly was experimenting with sneaking in ground-up mushrooms, pinched from Farmer Maggot's fields. If you listen to the young fry around here, these parts, who snuck into those fields and eaten some, you'll know they have some awful queer effects. Yeah, mushrooms. So if you want to know what I think, and you clearly do as you're asking me, well, I think eating those pies up and disappeared Bilbo. Good thing that odd Gandalf was around to cover it up with a poof of smoke and save us all the scandal. Although some might think there could have been an important lesson to be learned had he not. All right.
What do you want?
And the last one here is Lotho. Well now, last I heard is that old Baggins had completely squandered his fortune, although I never myself believed it was half as big as folks said. So it wouldn't be that hard to lose now, would it? But as I was saying, with his fortune gone, I hear he went off in one of those big folks' towns and got himself the finest fake beard that remainder of his money could buy. Now, don't start laughing yet. You ain't heard the rest of it. And you remember what I said about him being too clever without much sense? Well, fake beard obtained, he went to live with the dwarves. Yes, dwarves. Snuck right in there with them in their caves and their digging. Dwarves aren't too smart from what I've heard. And those caves got to be mighty shadowy and smoky from the torches, don't you think? Figure with his beard he can hide and work right along beside him, all the while slowly building up a new fortune of pocketed gems and fine metals. I bet he'll be back again, lording up his adventure and supposed fortune over us once more. There we go. I completed the Baggins Birthday. Very good. Title awarded. Chronicler. Nice. Okay, so I've talked to all those people. Now I got to return back to the gaffer. And that's pretty easy because he is just right down the hill here. Gaffer? Yep, you're all down the hill.
Just a moment.
Managed to speak to all the hobbits? Wonderful. That's giving you what you need. Off with you then. Time to take these stories to the final recipient.
Oi there, give me a moment.
Oh, I was getting XP the whole time. Did not realize that. Alright, I imagine those stories have some waiting for them. Off you go now. Speak to Bilbo. Okay. Alright, so that was the Chronicle of Bilbo's Adventures. I'm going to go ahead and run back to Bilbo, but on the way, I'm going to stop and do a couple of these quests for Bingo Boffin. And we'll cut these together to where I've got the Bingo Boffin quests together. I've got this one together, and we'll move on from there. All right, everybody, so I'm back. I am wrapping up the Baggins birthday party. I hope I'm wrapping it up. I don't know how much it's there. I just finished speaking with all of the Baggins stories about Bilbo, telling us where they think he is. A couple of them are pretty close, saying that he traveled, went to go see the dwarves, went to go see the elves. He's now living with the elves. So, but a lot of them were just way off the beaten path. Still can't get that quest. All right. And I think I need to go talk to Bilbo, it says. So, happy birthday, Bilbo. Baggins' birthday quotes. Hello, Snigby. Many salutations, I'm sure. What's brought you here on this fine day? You know what? I've been collecting all these birthday party things, stories. Stories from the Shire and all of them about me? I can't wait to hear them. Please tell me your tales. So Gandalf popped me in a sack and carried me off, did he? I'm sure he'll be sharing that with him later. He'll enjoy it to no end. And that's to be followed by one act play. Well, there's Smog. There's fire. Well, I just have to put my pen to paper and honor such a request. Oh dear, they're even better than I thought. The imaginative hobbits. The truly know no bounds. The Lonely Mountain, Holly Hornbow's pies, a caped crusader even. Oh, gracious and goodness me. You have made this old hobbit very happy, and I know my belly laughs such as I have not known for a while. Elves, for all their charm, have more esoteric forms of humor. I've missed the stories of hobbits to tell. Take this with my thanks. Clearly, you have a knack for recording and telling tales. I hope you keep that up during your adventures. I sense you'll have a great many stories to tell. Finish now. Well, you're very welcome, Bilbo. And you know what? I think we'll go ahead and end our journey here for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed hearing the stories of the Shire, the Hobbits of the Shire had of old Bilbo here, and as much as he did, and get a few belly laughs. Anyway, this is Snakeby signing off. Everyone, have a great day. If you've liked this content, think about giving a subscription. I sure appreciate it. It lets me know that y'all are enjoying this content. I'll go ahead and keep up making more. And we'll wrap up this recording session. It's a Sunday evening. I'm going to go ahead and do some editing, get this uploaded for later in the week. And got a busy week this week. It's our last week of our quarter. So may or may not be able to do any recordings, but hope to get something in so we have something ready for Sunday. This will be tomorrow when this comes out. Or no, this is coming out on... Anyway, whenever this comes out, we're going to make sure that everybody's having a good time with this. Anyway, everybody, this is Snigby signing off. Everybody, have a great day.